Indeed, the 27th day of May 2025. What a blessing it is to get to this day, the day that the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice and have fun. This morning, as we learn on Parenting Tuesday, we are getting into an interesting topic. I think a lot of kids will relate with this topic. I don't know if parents will. The hidden cost of strict parenting. And when we say strict, what is strict really? You know, there's so many things we'll be talking about, including something you need to learn about, which is tough love. There's also that, okay? So join me on 20316, which is our SMS line, 0786 316 316 WhatsApp line, to just get to learn with us. Send in your comments, your questions, or even suggestions in regards to our topic for the day. I'm joined by an amazing panel of a parent, a reverend, an author. He'll be introducing himself, a young lady who is, you know, she's a mentor to the youth. She's a youth, but also mentoring, you know, her peers. Lovely. She's going to introduce herself to us as we get into this topic. My name is Sally Limo. I welcome you to join us, you know, in this amazing space. Karibuni sana, Rev and Marianne. Please feel welcomed. And asanteni sana for making time. I'll start with you, Marianne, to introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you so much for hosting me. So, my name is Marianne Wanjiro Kibuchi, and I am a fashion model. I'm also an educator / an avid youth mentor.
Right.
And I have a background of 5 years experience in the mental health space as a counseling psychologist. And I'm very happy to be here this morning. Yes.
I'm excited to have you here. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Rev.
Yeah, good morning, viewers and listeners. My name is Reverend Devenjero, born again and blessed of the Lord. I'm the lead pastor of Transformation Ministries, Royal Treasure Church. We are here right here in Nairobi, Kenya. And apart from that, I'm married to one female wife. And God has blessed us with 3 biological children. And we are also taking care of 2 complete orphans. Apart from that, I am also a youth mentor, very passionate about youth mentorship. And I'm a leadership trainer and coach. And also we run a program called School of Excellence, where we teach people on personal development to understand their purpose, why they were born, why they should pursue a certain area in their lives, so that they become a brand and not just commodities, because brands are sought after and commodities are sold. Apart from that, I'm an author, celebrated author. I've written this book called You Are Not a Failure, which was actually number 2 in Africa last year with African Christian Book Authors Award. And I believe that the one which I'm writing now, or which is already out, will be number 1 in this Africa.
Absolutely.
And an impact, you know, across the globe.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow, congratulations on that, Rick.
Thank you.
And you know, I'm really excited that both of you are in that space of the youth, and you're so passionate about that. And we're talking about, you know, when we say about parenting, that's really, it's about our children, including the youth.
Definitely.
So I'm pretty excited to have both of you here.
Thank you.
And just probably, Marianne, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Have you been in this space of strict parenting? Because you're still young. Have you been in that space? And, you know, how was it like? How did it shape your understanding, your personality, your confidence, you know, negative or positive?
Yeah. Sure thing. I will say yes, there was strict parenting, but I will call moderate.
Okay.
I will call it moderate because we always say that there's that kind of parenting. You may look at other parenting experiences and you're like, hey, yeah, you're very fortunate. So I will say moderate. I can also say that I think as I look back and as I was reflecting upon parenting and my experience, I think for me, I have been majorly influenced by also having older siblings.
Okay.
So there was the influence of the parents and also the influence of older siblings.
Okay.
And that has definitely shaped me. It has definitely shaped my personality. And to some extent, we can say that there has been positive and negative.
Yeah.
And what makes the difference is the mindset, that's the approach and how I look at my upbringing.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well said, well said. Rev, as a parent, what is your parenting style like? What kind of a parent are you?
Well, I know there are quite a number of parenting styles that are known. But I would just decide to go to a completely different theory that of my own, which I call tough love.
There you go.
Yes, and you know, because as a parent, you have to love your own children. When I say your own children, either biological or those that at least that are coming to your space.
Right.
Like being a rev, you know, we interact with quite a number of people, and even Jesus said, "Let the little children come unto me." And actually, to even demonstrate that, even Jesus said, "Let them come to me." And he actually told his disciples, don't try to put a barrier onto these children. So remember, the disciples are so close to Jesus, and then he was actually wondering, now these people are so close to me, they should understand the kind of love that I have. I love everybody. So my style is tough love. When I talk about tough love, is, you know, this is the way, let us walk this direction. And if there is a question, then we have a honest conversation about that, because it is not just a matter of do this, don't do this. Because the question, the children of today, you know, the children of today, they'll always ask you, why should I do this?
Why?
Or why can't you not do this? But you see, we normally work together in a space of understanding. So we let the child know, I let my child know that this is what is to be done, and this is what is not to be done. And of course with reasons. And when there is a question, I don't take it as an offense. I take it as an inquisitive question, and because they want to know. There's also an adage that says, if kama hujafunzwa na wazazi, utafunzwa na ulimwengu. That means that if you have not been directed or guided by your parents, then the world will teach you, and the world is ruthless. Yes.
Okay, but and also when you've talked about tough love, where does the toughness now come in?
The toughness comes in, if this is not the right way, then there will be a guidance. And then a guidance, of course, with strict boundaries. Because when you move out of this, these are the consequences. So the person knows exactly, if the child knows, if I break this, these are the consequences. Probably it will be a pinching. All right? Or maybe it will be a withdrawal of something that this child loves. Let's say, like, for example, if you're trying to do the dishes. If you don't do the dishes, then you say, all right, if somebody else does that, then you say the consequences is no breakfast. If you do breakfast, it will be just maybe a cup of tea or a cup of coffee with no accompaniments. And that is the punishment for you not doing the dishes. Yes.
All right. Then for you, Marianne, you know, you speak to a lot of youth, you're a youth yourself. So what patterns have you seen, probably very consistently, with you know, young people who come to you and they're from strict households, you know, very strict parenting? What kind of patterns do they portray?
Okay, so one of the things that I have observed is the issue of very low self-esteem. That is in terms of when you are in an environment where your parents and they are not flexible. I think that is the word to use. They are not really flexible. They are really strict on, you know, you have to do this and you cannot break my rules. It has to be like this. Sometimes even the child does not know. So there's the issue of low self-esteem. There's the issue of really questioning their identity and their self-worth, their self-confidence. If they want to do something in particular, they really question themselves. In terms of decision-making skills, they really struggle with making the decisions and believing that they are going to make the right decision. And even if they make a mistake, they know that they are able to correct those mistakes. So it's not entirely like there's no discipline, because I've come to realize that there's a difference between discipline and punishment. So punishment is, the outcome is really just to, sometimes you feel like, you see it's like a parent trying to vent on the child. Sometimes you hear language like, wewe nitakugonga nikumalize, I'll just hit you and finish you. So with punishment, really, it's more of trying to inflict.
There's a lot of anger involved as well.
There's anger, but with discipline, there is the issue of trying to bring that correction and instruction and direction, and it is gentle. It does not mean that you're not firm, because being firm is also very important. But there's that element of just the outcome is correction and direction. And sometimes discipline doesn't necessarily mean using a cane. It can also mean like just talking to the child and telling them why it's important for them not to do a certain thing.
Yeah.
And so sometimes the issues of low self-esteem, low confidence, being challenging your, that internal dialogue, you're really fighting within yourself. You see that struggle. And a lot of times, maybe I can give an example, in universities, you will see a lot of youth getting into drugs, getting into being rowdy and being, they're not really doing what they are required to do, but it's because they're trying to find an outlet, an emotional outlet, because they feel like maybe they are not accepted by their own parents. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Rev, probably even you, as you deal with this, our youth and young people, is there also a pattern that you probably have observed?
Yes, I think the most damning pattern is self-doubt.
Self-doubt.
Yeah, because they'll never do something and affirm themselves, because they will always be, looking behind and saying, who is that watching me?
Okay.
Am I really doing it up to their standard? Because now it becomes an outward word.
Yeah.
They will never discover who they are. And as I would say that in my book I've just shared something about who are you? Who am I? So you find that this kind of children, even the youth, who grew up in very strict environments, they will never discover who they are, that they are unique, they are different, and they are one of a kind. And as much as they maybe in a family setup, each and every person is very different. I normally say that even if there are two people who are actually twins, there is no two twins, even if they are identical, they are not really identical, because even their fingerprints are very different. So when somebody comes and says, this is the way, this is my way or the highway, and then it becomes, you bring that aspect of me is lost, that I am an individual, I am very different, I have my own life, I can make my own decisions. So it is like living a life of somebody else, which is actually a prison. And we find that that is why now you see there is a lot of a lot of rebelliousness, revolt, because they want to make a statement, because they don't even want to have a conversation, because they believe that when I do a conversation with this kind of a person who is very strict with me, then I'll still be pushed. And you'll find some other times that now, as Marianne just suggested, that you find them, they want to make a statement, they go to drugs and other maladjusted behaviors.
And with all this, Marianne, like what Rev has talked about, what you've talked about, then the mental health or mental illness, can we talk about that, in terms of anxiety, depression? Have you, mentored or had a counseling session, probably the youth who's going through that?
Yes, and it's a lot. A lot of them are really experiencing that. I think the issue of anxiety and depression, and I love the perspective that Rev has brought out, the issue of self-doubt. You see, with very strict parenting, which is, I think, what is usually called authoritarian parenting, it's more of you're really influenced by the voice of the parents. So what happens is the child has this sense of autonomy, right? When they're very young, you can see a 2-year-old girl deciding, I don't wear that dress, I want to wear this one. They're already starting to make that decision. But ukimwambia, oh, you're not supposed to wear that, you must wear this dress. So that autonomy inaenda ikireduce. So with strict parenting, the sense of that uniqueness, it's brought out, it doesn't really find expression. So it is replaced by the parents' opinion of them or identity. It's like that the parents' identity is transferred to the child. And when that happens, there is that conflict. So there is the issue of identity issues. they get to maybe around 12, 13 years, that is when the youth we start developing our own sense of identity.
Right.
So when we get to that stage and you're trying to figure out, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, who am I? Then if you're really in that strict household, that sense of autonomy, that sense of your personality, that sense of who you are as a person, it doesn't really come out because you're umekaziwa sana, you cannot even express yourself.
Correct.
When you want to say, okay, maybe you're not being rude, maybe you just want to communicate to a parent, I am not comfortable about this, but unasikia na kukelelesha already.
You're talking back at me.
You're talking back at me. What is wrong with you? You know, you're supposed to listen to what I'm telling you. Ukikosa kufanya hivyo, nani atakulipia school fees? So if that happens, the child now learns to, now anaanza kujiekea and they feel, I cannot even express who I am.
Yeah.
So there is that conflict and it brings along now those mental health issues. There's the issue of anxiety, there's the issue of depression, there's the issue of even having troubled relationships.
Yeah.
They're not able to relate with other people because the first relationship they had with their parents, it was already troubled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And for you, Rev, do you think as a father, there's that societal pressure, like for fathers to be strict? You know, when you are not strict, they think you're weak. Is it there?
Well, I would maybe start from what Miranda's just shared. And you see, this kind of mental health is actually very common, even from very young children.
Okay.
And you find that they're even throwing tantrums just anyhowly because they want to make a statement. And when these kind of children are growing up in a very strict environment, they treat everybody as a suspect.
Okay.
They say, oh, okay, this is also like what I'm experiencing at home.
Yeah.
And then the self-expression is actually misses so much.
Yeah.
And then the self-worth is also affected.
Yeah.
So every time they want to, to say something, they're actually even doubting themselves.
Okay.
Who am I? And what happens? What would other people say? So they live for someone else. Now bring about the issue of fathers to be strict. I would say that fathers, they're there to lead, to show the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the providers, they're the role models. And if I can do a research, or if somebody can do a research, you'll find out that whenever we ask the children at home, who are your role models? It is probably 2% who would say that their parents or maybe their fathers are their role models. Because even the father of today is even missing at home.
Yeah.
Because the 21st century that we are in today, the world is so fast. An incident happens now at 7 or maybe whatever time. Yeah. Within 5 minutes, it is across the globe.
Yeah.
And then because of that speed, the world is developing so fast. And so there is also the limited resources.
Okay.
So every time is devoted to chasing after resource. Instead of organizing your time in such a way that this is a time to go out there for other people.
Yeah.
Because every time you are out of your family, you are actually doing it for other people. And everybody of us, each of us has 24 hours. So for me, what I normally do is to organize my time in such a way that I have 24 hours. This is time to sleep. This is time for other people. This is time for counseling. This is a time for leadership training, because I also do leadership training. This is a time for writing, and this is my time for the family.
Yeah.
I am there. Even if I am not doing anything, let them see the Father is there.
Right.
Let us eat together. Let us pray together. We have a family, I call it a family routine.
Okay.
There's a certain time we sit down, we have a family devotion, and we do it roundly, round. So today is you, tomorrow is you, the other day is you. So read the Bible, give us what the Bible is saying. Then of course we ask, how was your day? So that there is that bonding. And the worst mistake that ever happened in a family is an absentee father.
Okay.
So you don't need to be strict, but they need to learn from you. Even when God created man, in Genesis, he told him, this is the garden, take care of it. As much as there's a taking care of it, there's an aspect of tending and to aid. Let us not forget our families. Be there. Lead by example. Okay. We have a program that we are doing currently with my friends from South Africa. And also Zimbabwe, actually from across the globe. And every other time, actually it's an online program. And we are addressing men. We are saying men take responsibility. You know, it's not a matter of hitting and run. It's not being macho. No, be responsible. Every action that you do, be responsible. But first of all, start at home.
Start at home. And because, when Rev says start at home, Marianne, do you know, it is possible that even as a parent, you have a child who's living a double life just because of that strictness. And if this parent, this father, especially the authority in the house, is not there, the head of that home, he's an absentee father, is it possible for this child to just live a double life, like probably even for the rest of their lives?
Wow.
Into adulthood?
Yes, it happens. It happens a lot. Well, the thing here is, with their double life, it's because they feel they cannot be their true selves at home. So when they go outside, they have their peers, they have their friends, they're interacting with other people, they're being influenced by other people, they feel accepted. Wanambe, usijali, you know, whatever you do, whatever you do, it's okay. So it's possible to have that double life. You have a child who is well behaved, they don't talk at home, but when they go outside, they are a totally different person. And it happens a lot. A lot of times we hear, because I live around a university, and I've also have had the privilege of working around a university. And one of the things that I have noticed, there is a lot of stories and a lot of parents, even within the community, who complain that the students are not really doing what they are supposed to be doing, or they are getting drunk, they're getting involved in drugs, they're doing all manner of weird things. And the parents have no idea. I remember there was this time I was talking to a man who had a shop somewhere around Thika Road. And we got into a conversation, and he told me, a very short story, I'll just summarize it, about a father who was very well off. And there was this time that he went to go to school, and the daughter was not aware that the father was around. So the father went and parked the car somewhere far. He's a well-off man. The car, very big and huge car, parked it far off. And he just stood somewhere, and he saw his daughter. She was not decently dressed. And when he saw her, he was very concerned about her. So he was just observing her, and he was observing her behavior. And then later on, that's when he went to her, and I think he gave her a slap or something, because of there's something that she did that was not really right. So, and then he went on ahead to remove the privileges that he had already put in place for her, because he thought the daughter was perfect and she was okay. But seeing because she was not there, she did not see him when he was there. He got to see a side of her that he didn't really expect. So a lot of times there is that even conflict with parents, and even that struggle. They're wondering, I have done everything. You know, I have provided, I have paid the school fees.
I've taken them to church.
Sometimes it's even your own parents, as your own children, as a spiritual figure or authority. And you're wondering, where did I go wrong? But it goes back to the roots. It goes back to that relationship that was not well cultivated when since they were very small. And it is always encouraged that if you really want to develop a relationship with a child, you start when they are very small. And not wait until they are older. That's when you're trying to, yes, you can make that bridge. It's not too late. But it is encouraged. The sooner you start to do it, the better. So the double life is there.
It is there.
It is there.
Yeah, Rev, and from what she's saying, I think something that's coming up, what I've picked is conversation is very important. Even just to give these children that emotional safety space. How important is conversation?
Conversation is extremely important. I normally call these kind of conversations honest conversations, because even the children of today, you know, the way we are brought up is very different the way the parenting of the 21st century should be. And I would say that the conversation should be very honest, and having a conversation, talking with one another, not talking to. So the parent should not be talking to the child, but they should having talking with the child. In other words, one of the skills that a parent or parents of today should actually develop is a skill of listening. which is intentional listening. Not actually to listen so that you can react in the negative, but respond. And because children, they are very inquisitive. Their minds, they want answers. They want genuine answers. They don't want just something to say that, gone are the days when we are told that, like, children are aborted in hospital. No. And they are learning anatomy in school.
Yeah.
So tell them this is what happens, this is what happened. And of course with the language,
at their level.
Yes, that is, that is also understood by them. And of course, without going to so much details.
Right.
Then as they grow, you keep on out talking to them. So those kind of conversations. My son is now 18, he's just turned 18.
Okay.
And he's joining the campus. And most of the time, actually, I'm working with him. Sometimes he asks some hard questions. I say, well, this is it. I intentionally go with him in some spaces. It is not me who is talking, but someone else is having a talk. But then he is also hearing.
Yeah.
So I also facilitate this kind of conversations. It is not always me talking, but I provide that safe space.
Okay.
Feel that at least dad is very much concerned about my life.
Okay.
And of course, guidance, and also seeing that he's working and the children are working in a certain direction. And those conversations are very, very important.
Very important.
And of course, it is important also if you start a conversation like if you are the kind of a father or maybe a kind of a parent who are very busy during the day.
Yeah.
Before you leave in the morning, please tap your children. Tell them, hi, how are you? Good day. See you in the evening. When you come back in the evening, same. Because you could be living in the same house.
Yeah.
But you don't see one another.
Very true.
Until the weekend.
Very true.
So in fact, even maybe the child could be asked out there by other children, how is your dad or how is your mom? Hata sijamuona kwa wiki moja. Have not seen him or her for 1 week.
Have they traveled?
And yeah, we had I don't know. They live for other people, but not for us.
Wow.
It is a sad situation.
It is.
So in fact, it is not wrong for you to wake up a child. If you have to leave at 5, just have them say, excuse me, I have to leave now, have a good day. When the children come from school, give them a hug. Let them know that this is a safe space, this is a safe environment.
Yeah.
And but some of the families, oh my, it is like a battlefield. Some of them, they hear that the door has been knocked.
Everyone takes off.
Yeah, they see it as a Simba Bekuja, the lion has come. So as much as the lion is tough, let also them see the love of a lamb. I want to give a short example.
Maybe very briefly, so that we take a break, then
All right, maybe
very
we take
briefly.
a break. No, very briefly.
Right. Yeah.
One time we had gone for a retreat with my family.
All right.
And then we were very vulnerable. Then we said, okay, our children, please rate your parents. We were there. We are the receiving end, my wife and I. And then my son said that, you dad, we ni kama simba, we nguruma sana. You are like a lion, you roar so much. And I say, you see, I have to do that so that I give you a direction. Then of course we humbly walk that direction. In other words, it's not in a bad way, but I want to show you that these are the consequences if you don't follow this. But of course you give the directions, and then by the end of the day they say, oh, sasa tumele. Now we have understood why you say, please, this cannot happen in this house.
So that's the conversation we're talking about. Let your children also tell you what kind of a parent they think you are, which I think is absolutely important.
Awesome.
Fantastic. That bit of conversation, how important it is. Speak to your children, not at them. Don't back at them. Have a conversation with them. And we'll be taking a short break just on that, and we'll be right back after this short break.
We are living in a lost and broken world, constantly bombarded by messages of hate and atrocities. But with God, we can overcome. Find hope and restoration on the go through life-changing shows on the Family Media app.
And then you will lose yourself and gain the world. And Jesus said, what good is it?
Get to stream Family TV and Family Radio 316 straight from your phone. Catch up on a show you missed or create video streaming playlists by saving and watching videos from our huge variety of shows at your own convenience. Download the Family Media app, available for all Android and iOS users on the Google Play Store and Apple Store respectively. Family Media, keeping Jesus on the airwaves.
love your children. You love your children in all ways. We're not saying that, you know, discipline them is wrong, no, but do it with love. And indeed, you've also heard about our prayer circle special this coming Friday on the 30th of May from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. We'll be having an amazing time in the presence of the Lord on prayer circle. So if you missed the last one in April, which was so amazing, it was fantastic. We were blessed, you know, we were just in the presence of the Lord, marinating ourselves in there. Then be sure to join us this Friday, on the 30th of May from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Come and let's worship and have fun together in the Lord. So welcome back to the conversation. But before we continue, Marianne and Rev, I'm seeing a lot of interactions on our socials.
All right.
And someone is saying here, there's a lady who says, good morning and praise God. I'm a mother who's divorced. I'm raising my son in a way I think is good enough, but lately I've seen him withdrawn. When his cousin spoke to him, he said he feels I'm suffocating his space. I used to pick him up from high school and now campus. For me, it is just caring, all right? I also don't allow him to go out with friends so as to focus on his education. From his cousin still, he's contemplating to go live with his dad. I'm devastated and wondering, is this strict parenting or just overprotecting him? And, you know, Marianne, probably your take, because the parent says, the mom says, I think,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that's good enough for him, the way he's raising it. You know, as a parent, you think you're doing your best, really. Your take on that?
Well, that's a very good question. I think it is, what I will say is sometimes relationships between mothers and sons, they are not necessarily the same as fathers with sons. I have come to notice the relationship dynamic between a mother and a son, or between a lady and a man. It's totally different. And sometimes and Rev will tell me because he's right here, with men they are able to communicate very easily and they are very simple.
Okay.
For us as women, we may be a little bit very difficult, to understand because we are a bit emotional.
Yes.
But for men, they are very straightforward. So I've come to realize for that relationship dynamic between mothers and sons, it is, in fact, I feel it is relatively easy to understand it and not really read so much into it because he's already saying it's there. I feel like mom is suffocating my space.
Yeah, because this is an adult now, but you've been picking them from high school, Reb. Then now you're picking them in campus. Do you know how you feel like a baby? And this is, for him, he's a man, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how that maybe makes him feel you are a youth.
Yes, yes. Maybe he feels that he probably needs that space because he can be able to develop that identity as a man, to be able to make his own decisions.
Okay.
I want to be the one to come home. I want to be the one to do things. I want to be the one taking responsibility and not feeling like, and it may not be even the mother's intention, but for him, he may feel like that.
Okay.
So it's very good because he has been able to communicate that. It is being able to sit down and having that conversation with the son and asking, what do you really need? What do you want me to do as a parent so that you feel like I'm giving you that space? And trying to, you may not go all the way, but you can start somewhere. Okay. You can say, maybe I'll not pick you this time. I see how you do something, and then next time it will give me that allowance to allow you to do it the other time and I can let you be.
Maybe in addition, a little bit on the same, that this is a very unique family. She starts by saying that she's divorced, and we are not going to ask what happened on that, but we also need to understand, does this particular gentleman, the son, does he know the story behind the divorce? Because also, now he wants now to go and have time with his dad, and I would say that this particular man or this son who is now a man grown up, he needs to understand the kind of environment, what happened, and of course why is this difference between the mom and the dad. And of course, as Marianne has just rightly said, this is now a grown up. He needs to have his space, because if there is so much overprotection, which now the mom says it is caring, it is actually scaring. caring, but it is actually scaring to the man.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's a grown-up man. How will he then get married and take care of his own family?
Okay.
Because now mom is all over. And so I think, as we are saying from the beginning, not even thinking, she should have a honest conversation with the son, sit down, have a conversation, say, where can I assist you in having this relationship with your dad? Because now, this particular man, who is the son, is a son of the husband.
Yeah.
So that is a different relationship. Now, husband and wife, there's a different relationship. Father and the son is a different relationship.
Right.
And the son and the mother is a different relationship. This is a triangle. So the mother should actually facilitate this triangle to be very smooth and seamless.
Okay.
I have been mentoring a young man who is actually in the university.
Okay.
And he's also being raised up by a single mom. And it's almost a similar case.
Okay.
And he tells me twice now he has gotten out of the family, twice. Now, I need to find out what really happened that he's staying out. And then they have a big house.
Okay.
And there are only two of them. So it's a conversation that we should continue having, as much as I've been mentoring him for quite a number of years now.
And talking of conversation, as we go to the next, because of time, I also notice, I may not be an expert here, but there's no communication between the mother and the son. That's why he decides to go to the cousin. So I think the mom should also create that space and environment to let this child be free with her. And at that age, I'm imagining that this boy probably is being teased in school. Mama's boy, how are you being picked and all that? So I think whatever you've responded, she's listening in and she's getting some tips. And if you need more advice on that, you can just ask for the numbers of our guests this morning and they'll be able to walk you through that.
Just to add one more thing on the same, actually we should have seamless communication.
Right.
Communication is very effective. Actually, not just a communication, but effective communication. We just talked about the triangle.
Yes.
The mother, the husband, and then the son. So whichever way the direction is, let there be a facilitation of that communication.
Okay.
Effective communication, genuine communication.
Okay.
You can actually love someone as much as you are not with him because of the relationship that was there.
Yeah.
Because we also need to ask ourselves what contributed to this divorce.
Yeah.
Is there a way of also maybe coming back again? Is there reconciliation?
Okay.
Was there forgiveness? Because there is something called projection.
Okay.
If there was a relationship which was toxic, so to speak, then that toxicity could easily actually be projected to the children.
Okay.
And then they say, now you cannot have a relationship with this particular person.
Fantastic. And just before I forget, I have a giveaway today. We're talking on matters, that's with parenting, and a parent like the one who was just sent. This book is talking about you're not a failure, all right? So if you feel you're a parent who, you failed in a way, and let us know how you failed, what help you need. And this book can be your book this morning as a gift, just to help you through this journey as you navigate it, parenting your children, and you feel I've reached my end, dead end, and I feel like I'm a failure. This is for you. So the first parent to tell me why you think you're a failure and how you want to be helped, you'll get this book. It will be yours. Fantastic. So I'm just looking at the the feedback here, the interaction. Someone is asking, what does strict parenting entail? Could this lead to parentification, where kids become small parents?
Oh, God, I love that question.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a very, very good question. Strict parenting, really, it's about where there's no flexibility, little to no flexibility, in terms of how you're guiding your children, in terms of the rules and regulations that are being provided within the home. So basically, that is strict parenting. And yes, it can bring forth the aspect of small parents, and this is seen sana, especially with the firstborn.
Firstborns,
Hey, firstborns go through a lot.
Are you a firstborn?
No, but I have seen.
I thought you're communicating. Okay, all right.
But I have seen it. I've seen it, because now what happens is, let me give a very good example. You are a parent. You are a very strict parent, and you have 3 children. you have empowered the firstborn to be the parent, maybe the firstborn son or the daughter to the parent, to be the parent to the other siblings. So what happens, that strictness is passed down to the firstborn. And then now that firstborn takes all the strictness and the pressures and the expectations and the everything of society and their own home. It now trickles down to the other siblings. What happens? It brings resentment. It brings a lot of anger and frustration between the children, between the siblings. Now they feel like the firstborn, anatukazia sana, they're too strict, you know.
Right.
You cannot even have a conversation, and it ruins relationships. So it not only ruins the relationships of the children with their parents, but also within the children themselves. So that is also a very, I love that question, because it brings for that there's that impact upon children as well. And homes are never really the same, because if you feel like if the children are already this sibling rivalry, you know, there's that sense of now I have to follow what the firstborn is saying. I have no sense of identity, I cannot be myself, and then they also feel that the parents are also strict, so where do I go to?
All right.
Yeah.
Asante. Thank you for that. I think that one, has answered our viewer or listener wherever they are. And Rev, I wouldn't want us to end the show without talking about online, because there's a lot of our youth are so much into the digital space. Do you think that the strict parenting works when they are so much exposed to online content?
I would say that the parenting of this century, as I keep on saying, the 21st century, is very unique. Because everything you need is at a click of a button. Just the other day, I was just relaxing at home, and my daughter had just gone out of school. She's in grade 8 right now, and she all of a sudden I had a scream, a joyous scream. Then I was like, oh, what is happening here? Then she came running. She was using her phone, and she told me, Dad, look at this. Does this look like me? And I asked, who is this? Then she says, you know what? I have told AI to do a drawing of me. So she sent me the description, with a long face, pleated ear, looking like an Ethiopian, and she also said I love wearing baggy clothes, and it was actually almost exact as the description. And I said, oh, how did you learn this? Then she told me, you dad. I took her to her phone. She told me, these gadgets, I can do everything. And then I told her, okay, this is good, but of course with a limitation. Of course, like what we do in the house, everybody has their own freedom, especially with the media. But we have already told them. I have told them several times. In this media, you can actually get what you want. There will be some pop-ups, which is negative. So you be like a sieve, like the way you cook tea. There is tea leaves, there is milk, there is water, boiled together. But then what just get the good thing, leave the rest. So social media is there. It is good. It connects people. I also see them, her also being in her own class, with the WhatsApp group, they are communicating. So social is there. Social media is there. Let it be used for social, for connecting. But then when it is when it is overused, then the real social communication, the real social connection is lost. Because we have also find a lot of youth nowadays. They don't even know how to communicate themselves. They don't know how to express themselves. Even saying hi to somebody like Mary Ann.
They can text each other when they're in the same room.
And what also happens, some of them come to the inbox and say hi. They want to start a conversation, but they don't even know how to start a conversation.
Because of time, let me try. Absolutely, that is so true. Anyway, let's say we are judging them too much. But someone is saying here, hi Sally, if the young man is getting enough, I think that young man we talked about, enough money from the mom, he should relax and let the mom make decisions for him. Salah. I don't think so.
How young is this young person?
Over 18.
Those are the kind of people who are saying that they are the mom's children. So they should take responsibility. And why would the mom now spoil them with this kind of money.
Yeah, so that means you're buying your, you're not there, you're not available, you're not allowing them to do it, but you're just giving them money, And that's why sometimes probably, I don't know, you find a lot of suicidal cases with these young people because they don't even know where to go, where to talk about.
And then that actually kills the culture of working, because now, how do you spend if you have not earned?
Yeah. There's a very long but very interesting comment here. Someone is saying, I'm just reminded of my days in junior and senior school. I hated every time Dad came home. He was a great provider, but I never felt his love. As a police officer, I was always out serving others and would come back with anger from the battlefield and project it on us. Every time he appeared at our gate, the atmosphere would change. We longed for when he would go back for us to enjoy our home without him. And that's what Rev had talked about. Your take, Mary Ann, as our, your parting shot as we are ending the show now.
Oh, okay. So this is quite interesting. I can summarize it in this and say that the best leadership starts at home. Oftentimes what we want to do is we want to go out there, we want to make an impact, we want to serve people, and rightfully so, we do it very well. But when we come back home, the house is not in order. So even I think it is also in scripture that talks about if a spiritual leader is given a spiritual leadership, he has been given that responsibility. He first puts his house in order. I know I'm paraphrasing, but he first puts his house in order, and then from there he can be able to go out there and serve other people. Because what happens is when they go out there, they are celebrated, they are valued, they come back home and everything is in shambles. So I will say in this case, it is very common. Very many people have strained relationships with their parents, especially their fathers, and it's important to the best thing I can say is
Parting shot for you, Rev, very in 20 seconds, really 20 seconds.
I would say that even as much as we're talking about the cost of strict parenting, let us also introspect ourselves. Let us ask ourselves, how was our journey? How did we grow up? Are we projecting our weaknesses to our loved ones, or what exactly is it? Then secondly, it doesn't mean that we have failed. You can always look at yourself and say, this is where I went wrong, but I can be able to pick it up. Then thirdly, you need to have some mentors, somebody who can be able to point at you and say, hey Sally, you're going wrong, this is wrong, and without taking offense. And of course say lovingly, well, I take this correction.
Awesome. And fortunately, we have to come to the end of this amazing, super amazing conversation that I'm seeing a lot of interaction, a lot of people relating to this. Asante sana for your time, the interaction, the engagement has been amazing. Thank you very much. And also for you, our partner, that is a special group of people that we cannot afford to, forget. Our partners have ensured that we bring you this beautiful, amazing, and impactful content. I want to say thank you so much. If you want to be part of this particular group or ministry, then you can do that by sending the word partner to 20316 or 0786316316, our WhatsApp line. And also you can send your support or contribution to our pay bill number 316316, and the account number shall be your telephone number. God bless you and keep you. See you again tomorrow on Matters Finances on Financial Clinic. Have a blessed day.